What's up, everyone? Welcome to our Franchise Empire weekly newsletter, where we share with you some specific franchise opportunities that we think are interesting and think you'll enjoy. Today, we are going to talk about a resale that did $1.6 million in sales last year. Sounds like an interesting opportunity. We'll talk about Baskin-Robbins. Is it a good investment? I looked over the numbers, and I have a fairly strong opinion on this. I imagine Mark
I'm
might
sure
too.
you do. I'm sure you do.
So we're going to talk about their startup costs, the average unit sales their franchisees do, their fees, and then we'll also hit on one of the candidates that we helped and work with and their background, as well as one of our most recent pieces of content that we put out around passive income and if you can make passive income owning a franchise. But before we dive into all of that, just a quick message. All right, if you're new here, my name is Tarek Johnson. I'm the CEO and founder of Franchise Empire, and we have here our head of brokerage, Mr. Mark Magerman. Hello.
Hi, Tarek.
All right, so let's dive right into it. Mark, you're the one that selects the resales for this and does the research and the homework. So yeah, tell us about this opportunity.
Yeah. If you guys listen to this on a regular basis, we have lots of asterisks attached to resales because they're a little tricky. But every once in a while, you find good ones that just seem to have some potential. Keeping in mind, when we say potential, it means you got to do the homework to verify the potential. But this is a very interesting brand in the very popular area of Wilmington, North Carolina. I read yesterday that more people moved to North Carolina in 2025 than any other state in the country. So
Interesting.
yeah, I thought it was very interesting. They said North Carolina and South Carolina have taken over from Texas and Florida. So that's good. It means there's going to be a lot of people in there and a lot of opportunities for these home service businesses. And this is one available. It's a brand we know very, very well. And honestly, I'm surprised that the brand made this available and made it out to the public. That means another franchise owner chose not to go forward and buy it. So it becomes available to us. Asking price is $1.2 million, which sounds steep. But when you look at prior gross sales at $1.688 million, and most importantly, 7 territories available, my guess will be that 7 territories have not all been worked. So there's a lot of potential here, a lot of opportunity, which is why the seller is probably confident in that $1.2 million price tag. So this is available to you guys. And if anybody's in the area, don't get in touch with us about this business. If you live in Bismarck, North Dakota, you got to live in the area. You got to be nearby. But if it's close by and you're interested in resales, this is one we'd love to talk to you about. So it's a large business. Obviously, it already scaled up to 7 units. The model is relatively emerging, meaning they don't have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of franchise owners, which may be a good thing, which is why some of these resales may become available. Very strong franchisee network. As a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken, a couple of Franchise Empire candidates have become franchise owners with this brand. And as always, with resale opportunities, prior leadership and or management experience on your end is a real benefit and will get you to the top of the line in terms of other people looking at this opportunity. And please show up waiving your pre-approval financing, because again, if you're not pre-approved on a business like this, they will not give you the time of day. When I sold my business, Tarek, years ago, we didn't even, if they weren't pre-approved financially, we just didn't have the time to do it. So really good opportunity. Click the link below if you're interested in trying to get on our calendar. We can help you with it. And really excited about this one. So good luck to everybody out there, especially if you're in the Wilmington, North Carolina area.
Yeah, nice. This is, I think, one of the bigger ones that we've had on in a while. And to your point, I mean, you made the comment, Mark, and for those of you guys just joining us, we're talking about the resale of the week that we're highlighting. Asking price $1.2 million, prior year sales of $1.6 million, and you made the point around probably all 7 territories have not been worked. The other comment I'll add to that is if you were going to buy a new 7 territories of a franchise, I mean, that would cost you what, on average, like 40 grand a territory. That's like $250,000 worth of just territory rights alone.
Fair
right?
point. Yeah, very fair point. Probably more, but yeah, that ballpark. And here in this case, you already got the 1.6 million of sales in the bank.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah.
will also say, to be completely honest, this is not necessarily a recurring business model. So, the type of service that this business provides, which we can't really be that clear on, it's not a contracted. It's usually big ticket items, high margins, but not repeat business. So again, the 1.688 says there's a need for this business, there's a want for this business, and a lot of customers are paying for the service. But you're not going to go back to the same customers and bill. You may go back to the same customers for referral sources. That's what I would do. But
And have a bank of reviews,
and have a bank.
of positive reviews, and have, obviously their acquisition systems have been working in terms of how they're marketing, and they must have a salesperson, whether there's a salesperson, the owner's doing it. But yeah, fantastic. Good
Yeah,
stuff. Right. Well,
I'm going to make one other comment, Tarek, just because I don't want to be I don't want to be considered I'm contradicting. If anybody's listened to us before or listened to me on any of these podcasts, when it comes to these resales, we always believe that they are meant to be in the hands of people with tons of experience before. So please, if you've never started a business before, this may not be the best opportunity for you, A. And B, because this brand is what we call emerging, meaning less than 100 franchisees, those are the type of brands that really do have very vibrant resales, Tarek, because it could be that there's just nobody in the network in the area, which is why it gets public, right? So again, lots to like about this. And we'll kind of pause it there, but lots to like.
yeah. Yeah, totally agree. Well, for those of you, if you're in the North Carolina area, like Mark said, and you want to get more info on this specific resale, you can go to franchiseempire.com/resales. You can see the link right there. And if you're not in that area and you're thinking, hey, I don't want to relocate there, which we have had someone before relocate to buy a franchise. It was a
Sure.
new territory, which was even wilder. But if you're thinking, hey, I want to know if there's some resales in my area where I live, then go to that same link and you'll be able to enter your info and schedule a call with the team. That's that. Let's celebrate Mr. Simon Cowell. Let's celebrate what we got going on, which is Mr. Jordan. So, Mark, you want to tell us about Jordan?
Yes. Jordan was one of my candidates. Very, very nice man out in the Texas area. I don't remember the city, but out in southern Texas. And Jordan was a really good guy. He came to us wanting to get involved with franchising, but didn't really know anything about getting started, which we actually love those people because that means they're willing to listen and willing to learn the right way. But came to us after a 30-year career in technical recruiting, ready for a new challenge. Interestingly enough, when he first came here, he wanted to find another recruiting brand to sink his teeth into. After we talked a little about it, he realized, wow, I'm getting out of this industry. I'm running away from it. Why would I get back into it? So pretty astute on Jordan's part. He had 150 grand to invest, which is a healthy number for some of these service opportunities. His goal was to replace his $200,000 income within 18 months. Pause there for a second. There's a realistic guy, right? I want to replace my income after a hard work of a year and a half, as opposed to people who come in and say, I want to quit my job, start the franchise, replace my income in the first month. Unrealistic. So his expectations were realistic, which we appreciate. I wanted to build something scalable for the future. He had a couple of grandkids that he wanted to see if he could take care of. He realized he wanted more than just a profitable model. He also wanted a business that would allow him to serve others and make a real difference in the community. More and more people are looking at that. And again, more and more franchise brands are being curated that really help you give back into the community. That all of this information, all of these dialogues with Jordan led us to the conclusion that he should really investigate the senior care sector, which if anybody's listened to us in the past knows it's a very, very popular sector and a very rewarding sector. So it took him to that senior care franchise. It aligned completely with his values and experience. He was thoughtful and driven, which was a quote I used because that's what he was. He stayed focused on what mattered, stayed coachable, made a decision with both head and heart. That's what sets strong owners apart. He's now launching his franchise near his home in Houston and building something really, really meaningful. And if I'm not mistaken, he's going to be bringing his children and his grandchildren into the business. And I wouldn't be surprised if a couple years from now we hear a lot about these guys really committed. And it's the rewarding part of what we do, Tarek. Right? People come to us; they don't really know what to expect. They don't know, but if they're coachable he just did everything right. And I could say if I can get another 100 Jordans on our calendar in the next year, we'll do pretty well here at Franchise Empire, because coachable, real likable guy. So we're really happy for him with his choice of senior care.
Nice. Yeah, I love hearing about people who want to go all in and go for it, because obviously we know that they are more successful than the people who don't go all in.
No doubt.
Sweet, guys. Well, we'll move on. We are on a time schedule today, so we're going to keep rocking and rolling. Our franchise of the week. I bet you've never heard of it. Just kidding. Baskin-Robbins. They're definitely not as popular as they used to be, right? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I totally will. As a kid, they were all over the place. It was all you had to do was say 31 flavors. You knew what that meant.
Yeah. And then you had like the Cold Stones come out, and then just a lot of mom and pops. And anyways, let's talk about it. So we'll talk about how much they cost to get open, how much money they make. And I don't know, maybe you'll be surprised. But in the post-war Southern California, ice cream shops were everywhere, but they looked the same: vanilla, chocolate, strawberry behind every counter. Mark, you want to guess what my favorite flavor is out of those three?
I will guess, Tarek, since you asked. I'm going to go off the board. I'm going to say you're a strawberry guy.
Yes. How'd you know? Oh, man, that was a good guess.
I had 1 out of 3, man. That's just a guess.
Let's see.
I figured if it was vanilla chocolate, you wouldn't ask me to guess, because that would seem kind of, down the straight and narrow. So I went off the board and went strawberry. I'm a vanilla guy if you're interested.
I was gonna guess vanilla. Yeah,
vanilla.
Nice, cool. All right, so in 1945, Irv Robbins decided that wasn't good enough, so he opened his own shop, stocked it with 21 flavors, which was an unusually bold move at the time. I'm wondering when that bumped to 31. Maybe we'll see that later on in the description here. And then a year later, his brother-in-law, Bert Baskin, okay, I see where we're going with this, opened a separate ice cream shop across it threw me off because of saying the Robbins first and then the Baskin.
Yeah, me too.
Threw me for a loop.
I'm wondering how they decided to do Baskin first. Maybe they just said alphabetical so they could avoid all these big fights about whose name goes first on the signage.
Maybe it was either. Did you say it was alphabetical? Is that what you just said?
I said maybe they just decided to make it alphabetical to avoid conflict.
And Robbins, I mean, obviously now that we know the name and it's ingrained in our head, so of course this comment's going to hold. But Robbins Baskin just sounds off and wrong.
Although if it was called Robbins Baskin for the last 50 years, we wouldn't be saying that, right?
Yeah. All right. So his brother-in-law owned a separate ice cream shop, which is funny. And then in 1948, the two built 6 independent locations between them, realized something important. Customers didn't want fewer choices. They wanted more. So that led them to merge their shops into a single brand, Baskin-Robbins. And that way the variety could be their differentiator. Their philosophy became permanent in 1953 with the launch of 31 flavors, 1 flavor for every day of the month. Interesting. Did you know that? The history behind that?
I did not.
I wonder if this will pop up on one of our trivias on our all-team meetings.
Well, if it does, you and I will get the answer.
We will, for sure. To support the rapid growth and innovation, the company invested early in its own dairy, allowing tighter control over production and faster flavor development. Franchising followed soon after, accelerating expansion across the U.S. and beyond. Today, Baskin-Robbins operates 7,800 locations worldwide. They have more than 1,300 flavors. That seems excessive. And remains one of the most recognizable dessert brands on the planet. That's fascinating. I have no idea why you would need 1,300 flavors. 31 seems pretty sufficient to me.
Yeah, and I wonder, of the 1,300, have some of them never even made it to the showroom floor? I wonder.
Yeah, it seems like an inventory nightmare. Total investment 307,000 to 622,000. So what? That's a median of about 450, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
Franchise fees 25,000, which is pretty low. 12.5 for a gas station or convenience store, or 10,000 if you do a combo location with Dunkin'. Their royalty fee is 5.9%. Let's just call it 6, or else maybe next year it'll be 6 if they're going up by 0.1. Marketing fee of 5% of gross sales, which is fairly high. And I don't think they really do. I don't see any commercials or like billboards for them anymore. Do you?
I don't.
Yeah, 5% is high. Let's talk about their AUV, Mark. So we're looking at all restaurants, the average unit volume sales of $532,000. The first quartile, top 25%, 822,000. Then 579, then 462, then 266. That's with a median to get open of about 450. What's your thoughts on that?
You know, I go back to my Five Guys days, and the average unit volume of a Five Guys was 1.1 to 1.2, and it cost about 850 grand to build. Typically we like 2-to-1 ratios, but I think in brick and mortar that's a little bit misleading, because really the key to these businesses is you got to be maniacal operators every penny. So I would say that I thought the numbers would be a little higher, but I don't think it's disgustingly low. But I think the key there to running these type of any food business, but especially one like this, is just maniacal day-to-day managing, and it's just not for everybody.
Yeah. They're very operationally heavy, and you do have to pinch your pennies. I mean, from my perspective, because 850 to 1.1, that's like I don't know what, like a 1.4 to 1 ratio. This is basically like a 1.1, 1.2. I don't know. And as you know, the lower the numbers, the lower the AUV, the harder it is to make money.
Yeah.
Right.
This isn't overly attractive financially at all. It's just not. And again, the economies of scale would probably kick in when you get to 5, 6, 8, 10 units, because then you can roll your costs out over all of them. But I don't know that I'd have the appetite to build 8 of these at 3.5 to 4 million, and then hope we operate the heck out of it. Again, I think this was a great concept before the last 20 years, when things changed and there's a lot more attractive type of brands out there. But, there are people, Tarek, as you know, who have a passion for certain categories and they want to own an ice cream stand. And I think I'd rather take a shot at a franchise brand than start my own from scratch. That's for sure.
Yeah. It just shows, when we look at brands that a lot of our candidates buy, which are more service-based, they're often looking at less, like 300,000 or less, and the AUVs, the average unit sales, are typically they're a lot higher than, they're more than 2-to-1, often more than 3-to-1.
Mhm.
Just the opportunity and the scalability is not as difficult. Like if you want to open up 2 or 3 territories, okay, you pay an additional franchise fee, but and okay, maybe there's some more infrastructure stuff, but you're not paying 300,000 per.
No. And again, it's more like 450 per, right? You want to build that
Yeah.
second location. It's like 450 if you find a location, if you get it done in a timely manner. So, it's all the things that when we talk to people every day, we talk about. There's just so many other attractive brands that don't require you threading the needle like you have to do to succeed in these kind of brick and mortar businesses.
Yep, for sure. All right. Well, the highest performer does 2.3. Happy for that individual or
Mhm.
anyone close to that. Good for them. But outside of that, guys, obviously Baskin-Robbins, they have 7,800 locations, but I don't know. The numbers aren't as attractive. And then you look at the numbers based on region and division. Northeast, Mid-Atlantic, the AUV is 377. Ugh.
Yeah,
Like,
again, a good part of that is even, and this is another thing about ice cream. I'm up in Boston, Mass right now. It's 9 degrees outside. The last thing I'm thinking about doing is going out and buying an ice cream at this point. Maybe a hot chocolate or something, but I'm not eating, not eating a lot of ice cream in the winter months. So that's going to affect the business as well. I was in the hamburger business. That didn't have a slowdown, but ice cream, I think you'd be better off south of the Mason-Dixon line or something like that.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. And we're not going to talk about any of that stuff. Well, guys, if you're thinking, hey, I don't want to open a Baskin-Robbins, what's up, Mario? What's up, y'all? If you're thinking I don't want to open a Baskin-Robbins, well, number one, because good luck finding territory. Number two, do you want to spend up to $600,000 to get one open to do an average of $532,000 in sales? I wouldn't personally. And so if you're thinking, hey, I'd like to see more attractive stuff, then cool. You can, if you want, you can, I didn't mean to put the ticker up. Here we go. If you want to know like what franchises might be available in your territory that show better unit economics and numbers than this, that are maybe more attractive, you go to franchiseempire.com/check territory. And if you qualify, if you have the assets and the financial wherewithal, and this isn't just something that it's like, I want to make passive income, because we're about to talk about that in a second. But you actually want to put in the work, then reach out to us, schedule a free call, and we'll let you know if we think if we should continue the conversation. I promise you, if we don't think franchising is for you,
we'll let you know.
We'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, the other thing on Baskin-Robbins, I will say, is we don't work with Baskin-Robbins. They don't. These larger companies tend not to use broker networks, but there might be resale opportunities, Tarek. That's probably fair to say, right? So
True.
There might be some areas in the country where an owner has tried to sell 3 or 4 of his locations. So again, if you think you're interested, pick up the phone, reach out to Baskin-Robbins. They'll have a marketing department, they'll have a friend dev department, and there might be resales available that are out into the public domain. So that may be another way of getting into a brand and maybe getting some efficiencies there. So I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair point. That's fair. I was coming across a little hard. Mario said, imagine investing $300K to make $300K in revenue working nights and weekends. LOL. I'm with y'all. Service base is where it's at. Yeah, we're on the
Agree,
same page.
Mario. Agree.
Last but not least, passive income reality check. I think, Mark, this was actually a video, I think, with you and
Chris and I.
You and Chris.
Yeah.
Why they put me on the thumbnail?
Why is Amazon paying me $63,000 a month?
Because your margins are terrible on that.
Right.
Oh, it's me. It's you. No, it's you and me. And Laura. It's me, you, and Laura.
Right. Okay. I do recall that. Yep.
Nice. Okay, cool. Ex-franchise owners expose the reality of passive income. How ominous does it sound? Sounds awesome. Good job, marketing team, creating that that strong title. But guys, look, we break it down. Everyone wants passive income, but most people have no idea what it takes to make a semi-absentee franchise work. We break down how to set up your franchise to succeed if you can't be full-time from day one. You'll hear real strategies from our own team, the mistakes we've seen others make, and how you can think like a top performer so you can put yourself in the best position to succeed. That is on our Franchise Empire YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. So if you type in Franchise Empire, it's there. Yeah, that's about it. Anything else to add before we rock and roll, Mark?
No, just I always say you got to earn the right to become a passive owner, right? So it's a great goal to have. I was successful in creating that opportunity when I had my burger business, but it came with a lot of hard work, a lot of sweat equity, a lot of rolling up your sleeves, smelling like peanut oil. And I earned the right to step back. It wasn't a right. It was something I had to earn. And we say that to every one of our candidates. You can earn that right, but you don't get it out of the gate.
100%. Totally agree. Awesome. All right. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Tarek. Bye, guys.